Hey friends, Scott here, and I'm excited about this video because it's pushed me to learn a few things, and to treat even this, this online teaching training idea, to treat it as a process of discovery. And that's really what I hope you can approach some of the learning you're doing as as you prep for your online teaching. I'm really hoping you can think of it as something like discovery, which takes a decent amount of time and other types of investment, but also in the end pays off. It's developmental, it's valuable, and it's worth the pursuit. This is an adventure, right? So what I'm going to share with you now is a workflow that combines software, especially Adobe products, and hardware in a couple different ways, which I love. I love the way these things work together. I'll be using Adobe Acrobat on my PC and Adobe Scan on my Pixel 2. And the thing is, actually, Adobe Acrobat is the only software I have a subscription for. It's powerful enough for me to want to invest out of pocket. And the thing is, hopefully your school can support you in some of this, but honestly, after this video, and for many other reasons, I hope you at least look into that subscription for yourself. Okay, so as I said, I've got my laptop, I've got here my Pixel 2, and we'll see how these things can work together. So the point of what I'm just about to get into is that I assume that you have some materials that you were hoping to distribute to your students uh, in the physical world, and now the goal is to digitize those materials. So perhaps it was an object, or maybe it was a hand drawing or something, maybe it was a book chapter, something that you had never scanned before, maybe it's a document that you'd printed but then somehow lost the digital form of. Anyway, these are all possible reasons why you'd want to go through this process. So let's assume that you have a handout like I have over here. So I'm going to open up Adobe Scan on my phone, and I'm going to initiate making a new PDF. So Adobe Scan will intelligently find the corners of what it is that you're scanning. And let's say I've got a second page. Again, it'll look for those corners. And from there, it tries to guess what form you'd want this in, or at least what style you'd like it to look like. So in this case, I'm going to auto color. It looks like it had originally turned it black and white. But yeah, I like those vibrant colors. And it doesn't look like I really need to adjust or crop the edges very much. What's interesting too is that the angle that I was holding my camera at warps the page a little bit, but then Scan corrects it and still produces a perfectly rectangular shape and deals even with some of the warping on the page. But okay, so that's a handout. Let's say I've got some handwritten notes. This is similar, actually the same process, but you might want to, let's say we'll add a page, we'll take another photo. You might want to just handle this handwritten content just a little bit differently. There we go. And see, it actually, when it dealt with the coloration, it made it more the whiteboard or grayscale style. And in this case, I want it to be the original, just in case it's a little more legible that way. And then finally, let's say there's a book that you need your students to have access to. In this case, you're just going to share a few pages, maybe a chapter, something like that. It really does help if you can get the book flat, but even then it doesn't have to be perfectly flat. But I'll do a little bit of that work here. And now, let's make it so the page lies as flat as possible. So even here, the app is going to attempt to find some good corners. It did its best there, but we can go back in and recrop things, just in case maybe I needed to crop out my finger or something like that. This is a super helpful little interface. So that looks a little better. All right, so I'm going to name this, let's say, Unit 3 Resources. Sounds pretty good. So I'll save that. It's creating a PDF right now. And you can also see that it's uploading it to the cloud, and then you'll see that it's recognizing text. PDFs are so useful and powerful in large part because often they're searchable. And that is something like a superpower of digital text, and something that I hope you can offer as an affordance to your students. So I'm going to go into my Adobe Acrobat, and you can see it just uploaded or just updated there with my Unit 3 resources. So I'm going to open that up, downloads it, opens it right away. And what you can see already is that even these really complicated pages from this game manual, they're already searchable. So let's do that quickly. So I'm going to search for control just for fun. And I can see there's one out of, or there are 7 instances of that word throughout this really complicated handout. You can also see that Adobe understood it should probably leave this handwritten text alone. That's fine. It also made this this page from the C.S. Lewis book searchable, which is super handy. And that's really all there is in terms of a workflow, except that from now or from here, you would take that PDF and you could either add it to a folder in Dropbox, or you can take it because it's in the cloud, but it's, you know, under, it would be under your Adobe account. You can share a link directly from Adobe. Yeah, so really, I hope you take the time to discover new things as I have been discovering here in relation to making these videos. It's hopefully it will be time well spent. And then we have such powerful tools available using both software and hardware together, and it's really worth getting to know these things. And I really encourage you to look into Adobe products and relying on PDFs and making those PDFs searchable. Just love that. In fact, I can share with you that I went through this process with my own documents. My mom kept a bunch of stuff from elementary school. I kept a bunch from high school and college. I had it all in boxes sitting down in the basement. I went through all of it, scanned it just like I showed you. Quite a lot of it is searchable, and now I can preserve it without needing its material form. So yes, in fact, I was able to throw away boxes and boxes of documents, but I still have the memory and the digital form of them. So it's really a really cool process. Anyway, hope you're well, and I'll see you next time.